We have one more very special guest with us. She is a very familiar face for our CMSME family. She is an academic entrepreneurial research management leader with extensive experience of working in innovation, enterprise, economic development, and partnership within life sciences, health and technology, in academia, industry, and business sectors globally. She is focused on stimulating economic and inclusive growth with business and universities link-ups. She is governor, university court member for University of the Highlands and Islands, the highest governing body responsible for a unique partnership of 13 academic, further, and higher education colleges. Kritika ma'am is back or no? She also advises Scotland's National Academy, Royal Society of Edinburgh's Economy and Enterprise Committee (EEC), and as a member on economy, academia, business innovation, commercialization, and entrepreneurship policies. She is the director of the World Health Innovation Summit, a social enterprise supporting communities and healthcare organizations with United Nations for implementation of sustainable development goals globally. She is an active member of Investing Women Angels, Scotland's only all-women angel investor group, supporting female entrepreneurs and innovative company founders with investment, mentoring, advisory, and training. An active member of Changing the Chemistry, she is a strong proponent of diversity and inclusion in boardrooms advisory and speaks regularly on public forums. She has published widely in high-quality international research journals. Her interests are strategy, leadership, technology, data-driven innovation, stakeholder engagement, higher education research and innovation, commercialization of knowledge, entrepreneurship, startups growth, gender diversity, and inclusion. Let me proudly invite our second chief guest of the day, Dr. Poonam Malik, for her address. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Aparna. Namaskar. Adab. Hello. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning from whichever part of India, the United Kingdom, USA, or the rest of the world you are joining us. A very warm welcome to you all. And I would like to say thank you to Santosh, to GCPIT, to CIM, SME, to Mishma, Aparna, and all the guests and all the attendees that are present here. It's a wonderful occasion that we are gathered here to celebrate the achievements of the wonderful women also shine light. I would like to start by saying, because I'm a woman, I take unusual efforts to succeed. If I fail, no one will say women don't have what it takes. How apt are these lines from Claire Booth to see how women as a group are generalized. Today, we are at the launch of platform Global Women's Business Summit with one single objective: to promote and support women entrepreneurship across the globe. We have gathered with the sole purpose of shining light on women leaders and empowering females globally to make decisions for themselves confidently, without fear and without worrying, to take permission from someone else, to spend their hard-earned money. Yes, it may sound strange, but it is still the truth that in majority of places for women, even today, be it home, office, or business, they seem to be needing to take permission, approval from someone else, be it their father, brother, husband, or a boss, which invariably is almost always a man. Why so? I think something to ponder over. Why did we end up in this situation when nature made us equal proportion and population mix of 50-50, with equal intelligence, with equal capacity to generate a new human being, and in fact, with an extraordinary, unique capacity to build, to carry a child and bring a new life in this world? then how, why, and when did we end up becoming second-class citizens in our own world? That we are having to prove ourselves again and again to talk about our worth, our potential, and our value to the society in each sphere of life, be it home, office, to make decisions independently regarding how to live, how to raise our children, how to spend money in our house, how we can work, and if we can work, how far can we go, how far can we climb the career ladder, and if we can't climb the career ladder, then there are these glass walls, glass ceilings, which seem to cave in. These invisible walls and invisible ceilings seems to close in and swallow rising female stars and whole promising careers. Yes, this is the stark reality experienced today, majority of the women. A normal day from office to home and from a normal fathom, because fortunately these were never, they never had to face this. For some unexplained reasons, these challenges have been reserved solely for the women count. They have to face a very different kind of music every day, from home to office and society and in workplaces. You all would have heard about famous Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling. She rightly said that destiny is a name often given in retrospect to choices that had dramatic consequences. If you would remember, this week, Wednesday, was the International Day to End Violence Against Women. It was also the beginning of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. This calls for global action to increase awareness and share advocacy for it. Now I'm aghast at the thought that I don't know when, how, and it was ever a good idea to be violent against another human being, let alone women, who are 50% population of this society. We are responsible for bringing new life on this planet. But looking at the domestic rate of violence, reported, unreported, hidden cases, the problem seems to be rampant. It's high time that we end violence against women. But when would we say enough is enough? Because the climb to the top for any position is for anybody can be tough. But for women especially, the road to climbing to a high position seems to be filled with hurdles and barriers, and especially challenging. World Economic Forum reports that at the current rate of progress, it will take us 257 years, imagine 257 years to achieve gender equality. Now my question to you all is, who has the 257 years? How many generations of our daughters, daughter-in-laws, and their daughters must take birth and suffer the same injustice and unequal treatment before they can start to feel the same first-class citizens that the other half of the population seems to feel entitled to? When can we start to feel confident and happy in our own skin and stop worrying about imposter syndrome? Now, many of you would have felt and heard about the imposter syndrome when women, however senior they are, however good they are, they tend to worry about being found out, that they probably are projecting something that they are not. As Rosalind Carter said, a leader takes people along where they want to go, but a great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but ought to go. And that is where we want all women to be, in that place. If I take example of my second country where I'm living currently in the UK, if the gender gap is closed, the world economy will be improved by $326 billion. Imagine 250 billion pound if all women were to start and attain their maximum potential. Now the question comes, why are we not taking advantage of that situation? Why are the 50% population of world is still facing challenges? If I take another example, The board's position, as it is known, the survey said that over 50% people want to be reaching corporations board as part of their senior career. But the reality is only 7% of corporate boards have women on their leadership. It hurts to hear it, but this is a shocking reality. Now, what are we doing about it? What can we do about it to break those old boys' network? I'm pleased to say that in Scotland, there was a target set by government for public sector board, which was called, slogan was 50-50 by 2020. We mean to have on public sector board, because that is where government can impose certain regulations and processes, clear and transparent processes, to have 50% women on the boards by year 2020. And I'm pleased to say that we did that target in 2019. So change can be achieved if the right processes, policies, effort, and will is to be followed with it. Recently, a recent example, just this week, Germany has passed a ruling that every listed company, and now I'm not talking about the public sector companies who are bound by the rules. This is a ruling for the listed companies. Every listed company will have to have 1/3 of their board membership from females. And now I know people have divided opinions about the quota system. I have personally myself never been a fan of it. But the thing is, if you need to bring a change, a regulatory requirement sometimes is the must. That is the kickstart process that needs that right push for people to follow. Along with that, when people see success, because success comes, there is ample evidence that diverse boards and diverse teams and diverse organizations perform way better economically, not morally, it's not a moral case. Financially, their balance books and accounts are much better performing even on the stock market when there are diverse teams. But because of the barriers that are put in place, we don't reach that. So well done, Germany. Hopefully, more and more countries will follow that path, and eventually we will see some change. And I'm taking this example, both problem basis, positive and negative. Now, COVID-19 has not been kind to anyone, the challenge of health, but it has been particularly challenging for women. Imagine a home work setting. Husband gets the study, library, or the living room table or a sofa. And where does women get to work? On a kitchen table. If they are lucky, they sit on somewhere in the kitchen. And because of that proximity to exposure to everybody, responsibility of tackling and taking care of all children's need and elderly people in the house, be it food, breakfast, opening the door, giving the food to the dog, everything falls on the women's household. Where is the justice in that? That two people who are facing the same work requirement, one takes priority and precedent over other. Why is it that women need to take shoulder the home's responsibility maximum and more than compared to their men counterpart? Why do partners, husbands, brothers pitch up more and pick up their share of extra burden? World Economic Forum also reported that the global gender gap has widened in this COVID situation than ever before. And this regression stands to hit women much more worstly at the base of the pyramid, because the women who are suffering more are at the poorest levels of society. They are suffering economically, people have lost jobs, companies have folded. And now we would wonder why, despite talk of progression, hitting home the message, why are we still in this situation? Now, if I think back and look at it, there are several layers of complexity of this challenge, and there are multiple barriers. I would outline few, and then from your own experiences, you can relate them and see where they are existed. For example, there are structural barriers. Women are in low-paid jobs at lower bands, lower level, being able to come out of that vicious cycle due to lack of opportunities, exposure to cushy projects. So my request to and plea to our colleagues, male counterparts, who are at the moment sadly, unfortunately, are in the positions of power and influencing power, that you need to take steps. You need to plan that succession, bring women. If women among women are going to talk about, we can call, we can ask people, but the change will only happen when those who are currently in the positions of power will start to take note. So we need to include men in this discussion too. And I applaud Santosh, whether you did it for the goodness of your heart or for your daughter's future in the coming future. But this is the reality, that more men need to come to the table and start talking about it and joining the discussions to see where women are finding challenges. Otherwise, if they shut down at the discussion, it looks like, oh, feminist movement, women are talking about themselves. We are never going to reach equality because we have already shut the door for the other side. So my request for both women members and men is that we need to sit down and we need to show the mirror to say where the challenges are, these are the solutions, and who can provide the solution at the moment. Let's arrive at that. So structural barriers. Second, educational. Education is the key for everything. We all realize that if you educate a woman, you educate an entire next generation, because she educates the children and they are a literate, educated, skilled society. Which is why we need to make sure that young women, young girls, they have access to good quality education, and so that they can follow their dreams. In terms of, and also the subject matter, it's like technology, science, why women cannot study them. There is nothing, the nature has not given us a smaller brain to not being able to follow that. So we should encourage, because this is where the future is. So why should that talent be left out of the society? Political situation, property right, inheritance right, boys inheriting family name. These are some of the actual reasons why women tend to feel and be believed like a second grade citizens, because they don't have a say in those. So this is where policy matters, the government play a role in it. Societal thinking and mindset and cultural barriers. It's not a problem of just the organizations which are not giving equal rights to women. When we look down deeper into the society's mindset, what subjects should girls study? How should they behave? Who should learn the housework? Why should my daughter learn the housework and not my son? If they are both going to go out and work places, they need to learn to share and shoulder the responsibility. Hence, we need to change the age-old mindset that only women need to learn the household and men only need to go out and play. She can equally be the next Mary Kom, or she can be the person who brings the gold medal. So encourage according to the talent and the interest. And I'm glad to say that there are lot of men coming along who are equally having interest in raising their children, spending time. So this is where some of the regulatory processes and barriers like shared maternity leave, paternity leave, flexible working, remote working, and blended working, these offerings should be made available more flexibly, but that is a policy and a structural requirement that the organizations need to think in. Unless and until we are going to provide these opportunities for women, the level playing field is never going to be level playing, because they will be tucked away after the maternity, 9 months in the house and further years, looking after the children, where men had equal responsibility in producing that child, but after that, they just left it on the female and move out it. So I love this quote from Eleanor Roosevelt, which said, "A woman is like a tea bag. You will never know how strong she is until she gets it in the hot water." And that's what we are. Women are very strong in dealing with problems as and when we are faced with it, and we come up with the solutions. So to come out of the COVID crisis, building a thriving economy, we ought to be creating more opportunities for women, giving them equal income generation opportunities or contribution. In accessing good health, a basic right for all human beings. Why is it so that in a household, a woman's health is the last thing to be taken care of? She will take care of everybody. Who takes care of her? And that's the question that every loving husband, partner, son, or husband should ask themselves. My question is, it is a shocking statistics that even today, women in poorer and rural community die in childbirth. This is a requirement which should never happen in today's 21st century. Due to lack of access of sanitary care products, a very challenging topic. A lot of younger girls drop out of the school because of the stigma that they don't have access to good sanitary product. It's a basic function. Menstruation, we don't talk about it. It's a taboo subject. But it's a basic function of a human female biology, which gives us the capability to produce a new living life. And that is cherished. Everybody, when they bring a new daughter-in-law in the house, they want them to produce them the next generation kids, be it a girl or a boy, but they want them. So why is menstruation, which is the beginning of that, a taboo subject? Why we cannot provide and talk about it openly so that women, when they have challenges or problems, can talk about it? I'm proud to say here, again, I'm going to quote, Scotland is the first nation in the world which just this week on Tuesday passed a period bill. It's the first nation in the history of the world to make free sanitary product available to every girl and every woman. Now, this will end period poverty. Scottish Parliament has done it, and it will help more young girls staying in the schools longer, attending schools, and reduce absence and loss of studies. This is a situation which the entire world need to follow. We need a new sustainable development goal to say end period poverty, make sanitary napkins available so smaller girls in the villages don't need to sit at home just because they cannot go to school because of shame. Now, coming to another big challenge, investment challenge for women startup founders. It is a well-known documented fact that just less than 1% of investment funding comes to female founder. Imagine how unequal this world is when 99% of the investment funding from venture capitalists, funding groups, angel investors go to male counterparts. Naturally, those 99% business, out of those, some will succeed. And from that miniature amount of 1% women that gave, even if one business makes it big, that's a big success. But do we want to live in that unequal world? And the reality for this, just this week, in the very famous journal Science, have published a peer-reviewed scientific study based on the data-driven evidence, analyzing the data, that female founders actually get penalized from investors. If you want to look at that study, look, because this is based on scientific evidence. It's not a myth. It's not my belief or your belief. That female founders get penalized for their lack of understanding of their business offering or their industry understanding. People may inherently, unconsciously assume that women might not have understanding of technology, computing science, physics, or robotics, or for that matter, manufacturing. Why so? Who decided that? But that is what investors think, and as a result, they don't fund it. So there is a systematic problem at the venture capital level, and the solution for that is more women across the table to be angel investors, to be venture capitalists. We have women holding 50% of the wealth in their name. But most of the time in traditional societies, it's in husband's name or father's name or son's name after husband's death. Why cannot women inherit that, be owner, and feel confident in spending their own money? So that is what, going forward, I would say we need to challenge and address some of these structural barriers. Some policy changes are required. And now coming to women themselves as leaders. If I look back at my own journey,
I'm sorry to interrupt, Dr. Poonam.
Yeah.
We are running
I'm just wrapping
a
up.
bit late on time. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Final sentence. Yeah, it's my last sentence. I would say that our vision is that more and more women entrepreneurs can leverage the opportunities and provided the business ecosystem supports them. And when let down by the system, I gain courage from Maya Angelou's inspirational line, said that you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeat so that you know who you are, who you can rise from, I will close the final lines with my own that we must be wanting
Thank you
to
so
achieve
much.
Hello?
at each cost.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good luck and God
Thank you
bless.
so much. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your powerful words. I hope it inspires all the men also who are attending. Thank you. I think Kritika ma'am has again lost her connection also. So let's move on to the next section.